So we're wandering around, and look who we bumped into, Mr. College himself, Rece Davis. How many years has it been now at ESPN?
I've been at ESPN more than 19 years, approaching 20 years in March. It just means I'm getting old. Good thing you have a good toupee and a really good plastic surgeon.
Come on now, it just means you're awesome at what you do.
Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate that. I mean, you and I go way back in the day, competitors and friends, way back in local television. So it's good to spend some time with you.
He's just saying that because he hopes I pay him the $50 I owe him from way back.
Ain't happening.
No way it's happening. Well, maybe 50 Canadian.
Yeah.
Huge game coming up, obviously. U of L, Florida State the defending champions, #2. But folks around here really are confident. Now, sometimes you wonder if they're wearing their red and white colored glasses, but folks are confident that the Cards have a good shot of doing something special.
I think what you have with this team, the reason they have confidence, they've got a good number of players who've been in big games, who beat Florida in the Sugar Bowl, who've competed for championships, who last year in the conversation, I know the schedule held them back last year, but at least had aspirations of competing for the national championship. So big games aren't necessarily something that are foreign or that would make the players get uptight. You also have a coach who is a guy who's been around the block a few times, who understands how to get a team ready for big games and is not intimidated by the stage of the atmosphere. And then when you add to the fact that at least statistically, they've got the best defense in the country. Now, I don't, honesty compels me to say I don't know if you can qualify best anyway, but it's really good. And certainly they haven't faced an offense like Florida State's, but I still think this defense is really capable. They're athletic. They're ball hawking. They can confuse guys up front. So I think there is an opportunity for Louisville to have a big night on Thursday night.
We're going to talk about Florida State's off-the-field troubles in just a second, but it looks like it's power against power. Florida State's offense, arguably more stronger than its defense, and as you say, U of L's defense, the stronger unit there. So you've got power against power matching up.
You have a guy that you have to deal with. The X factor is Jameis Winston. I mean, for whatever you think about the other stuff, the extracurricular stuff that Winston's been involved in, this guy, when the pressure's on, is remarkable. Whether it's the national championship game last year against Auburn, whether it was this year trailing against Notre Dame, he seems to be at his best when it seems everything's against him. And I expect him to really bring his A game, which he usually does, against Louisville on Thursday night. And that's the thing you can't account for, because even in talking to Garrett McGee, the offensive coordinator, and he was talking more from the perspective of Louisville's offense, but he said philosophically he believes that great throws beat great coverage. And Jameis Winston makes a whole lot of great throws. So Louisville's got a terrific defense, but the question will be whether they can get Jameis off his game.
Garrett McGee is smiling these days. Why? Because Michael Dyer, healthy. Some guy named Devontae Parker, who arguably one of the top receivers in the country, healthy. And they said he's starting to look like himself, healing up. He's had good practices. You can make an argument that from a Louisville offensive side, Devontae could be the quote-unquote X factor.
No question about it, because Florida State's had some issues in pass defense, and Parker's a tough matchup against the best pass defenses. And he ran well after the catch in his only game back. It's a pretty good way to come back to. Was it 9 for 132 or whatever it was that he had in his only game back? So I think that having the extra time after that game to get ready for this one, make sure he's good and healthy, this is a great opportunity for them, and it really helps their offense balance out. And I think it gives Will Gardner a real comfort to know that he has a guy that if he gets one-on-one coverage, he can throw it out there and let him make a play, because he's capable of doing that.
You know, what is amazing about Florida State, they've had all these off-the-field distractions, now Carlos Williams being the latest, and yet on the field, they're able to get it together. They've trailed in a lot of games, but they don't panic, and they're able to pull those games out. This is a big-time team that's not afraid of the big stage, Florida State.
It is. It was probably a reflection of how Jimbo has helped them condition themselves mentally. I would be less than honest if I said I didn't think some of it is just an inherent quality that Jameis Winston has to compartmentalize his life. And, Carlos Williams, a running back's a little bit of a different situation, I think, in terms of, being distracted or preparation or whatever. Not to say that it's easy to prepare at running back, but it's not the same as quarterback. So, they've had a lot of experience with this, with all of the things surrounding Jameis and the different things that have happened to them over the last few years. This is kind of, they lost Jameis for the second half, like the night before the Clemson game, and, they were probably fortunate to pull that game out, but they pulled it out. So I don't think that any type of report, allegation, investigation, any of that type of thing is really going to bother them too much coming into this game.
Do you think Carlos should play?
Bruce, I don't have enough information. I don't mean to be dodging it, but I think that sometimes that, generally speaking, not specific to this situation, I think sometimes the rush to judgment publicly is that if someone is accused of something, well, let's suspend him. And look, if he did what he is accused of doing, then there is no place for it, none, and you got to pay the penalty for it. But to sit here and suppose that I have all of the facts to make that decision, I think would be a little presumptuous on my part and probably wouldn't be fair. Just generally speaking, though, any type of violence against women, there's no place for it. Done with you. So,
fill in the blank from a Louisville perspective. The Cardinals will be successful Thursday night if they
get lots of pressure on Jameis Winston, knock him down, make him know you're there. Every time, get him releasing the ball before he wants to, and they will be successful.
They've got a D-line that's capable of doing that.
They certainly do, and that's one of the reasons I think they have a great chance. The Florida State defense, while athletic and talented, is not the same unit as last year. They lost 6 guys. They lost their heart and soul leader, guy LaMarcus Joyner. So this is a different defense. It's still good, but it's not what it was last year. So the X factor could be the Louisville defense being able to not put a lot of pressure on their offense, not make them have to score 40 to win the game. Now, I think, if memory serves, I think every game Jameis Winston's played, his team scored at least 31 points. So you got to go in thinking you need to score that and hope that your defense is good enough to be the first to hold Florida State to less than that with Winston at quarterback.
As we begin to wrap this up, you've been doing this a long time. Football, basketball. No, it just shows how good and how smooth you are. That's what I'm talking about. Does it ever get old? I mean, it just looks like you have so much fun out there, and I'm not trying to blow smoke. You truly enjoy, you truly look like you're one of the lucky ones that enjoys what he does. I
do, Bruce. It's, I mean, you've known me for a long time, and I like all sports, but there are 2 that I truly love, college football and college basketball.
You're 2 kids, as I've heard you say.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm fortunate to be able to cover those sports, and there are a lot of other ones that I enjoy covering as well, but it's been a great run. I'm really blessed to work with people who have become close friends, whether it's Mark and Lou on Saturdays or David and Jesse, have just been terrific to work with. I love spending time with them on the road during the week and then calling the games because we're all, I learn a lot from them, and we're all football nerds. They are certainly a higher IQ football nerd than I am. Not overall IQ, just football IQ. But it's great to spend time with great people, and they are probably smarter than I am overall too. But it's great, and it's a lot of fun, and I've been really blessed to work with great people.
Actually, I think he just likes wearing the judge's robe is what it comes down to.
Well, what I won't tell you, well, actually, you'll be the first to know. Right. Sometimes I take it home and wear it at home.
Do you clean it at least?
I do. I just tell my wife, here comes the judge.
This man never stumbles, never makes a mistake. No, he made a mistake one time. No, that was like in, what, 93 or something like that.
No, read my Twitter feed. You'll find a bunch of them. You'll find a bunch of them from every game.
Rece Davis on the broadcast tonight on ESPN. That's channel 923 HD on Time Warner Cable. The Noles against the Cardinals should be a good one. Rece, my friend, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Good to see you.